Hello everyone, it's Joe at Simply Better Communications, and as a professional moving from agency into freelance, I spent the last 6 years in agency roles, starting at that account executive level and moving up to a senior account manager before I left. So I wanted to share some of my kind of top tips and learnings along the way. Agency life has really allowed me to develop my skills and build new relationships in the industry, and really has been the kind of stepping stone to where I am today. So I just want to share some of these tips with you and hope that your new role can be successful. So my first point is on time management, which is going to be your biggest asset as you start agency life. The reality is that in the first 3 to 6 months during your probation period, there's going to be a lot of learning and development, and they will go slightly easy on you in terms of the time management. But further you get down the line in agency life, you are likely to managing multiple clients with different deadlines, different projects, alongside some of the kind of internal training opportunities that the agency puts on. And having good time management skills is really going to be a key asset and a key skill that you will need to embed into your practice. Agencies will do it in a different way. Some will perhaps have timesheets that you have to fill in at the end of the week. My personal preference was to log at the end of each and every day what I have done, down to the nearest kind of 15 minutes, half an hour. And at the end of the week, also thinking about your kind of next week, your next 2 weeks, what actions you've got on. And the reality is that you will need to be flexible in this as well. Things change, projects come up, projects disappear. So being flexible and being able to manage your time effectively is really important. So my second point is make use of the people in the room. And by this I mean, if you've come from an in-house role, then you're likely to only have worked with a couple of communications professionals at a time. If that, you might have just been working directly with a managing director, you might have been solely responsible for communications. If you've come from university, then you're likely not to have worked with communications professionals before. During my 6 years in agency, I had the opportunity to work with people with hundreds of years of combined experience in PR, marketing, and really detailed expertise on anything like email marketing, social media, graphics design. Take the opportunity to learn from each and every team member, learn what they're good at, and take note of the things that they teach you, because as a PR and communications professional, I feel like it's really important to able to kind of deliver an integrated offer and understand all of these different assets that come together in a communication strategy. So it might not be stuff that you're really interested in straight away, but having knowledge of some of these activities and that kind of wider communications mix will be really crucial as you grow in your role and develop more to that kind of account manager, senior account manager role. Because at the end of the day, you've got to talk to clients and you've got to be able to suggest ideas in different areas that perhaps you wouldn't have thought of if you were just focusing on one particular discipline. So that's a really important tactic. Be proactive from the day you start an agency to the day that you finish at an agency. And by this I mean, during the first 3 to 6 months, whilst you're kind of getting your feet on the ground, learning about different clients, you're likely going to have a bit of spare time on your hands, and make use of this time. It's not about sitting around and waiting for work. If you have ideas, throw them out there. Try to get involved with the process and let them know how proactive you are as a professional. This might be bringing a new idea perhaps in their social media strategy. This might be looking at the ways that they work, and if you've got some experience in other areas, trying to demonstrate how they could become more efficient. For me, it's if you sit back and you just kind of wait for things to happen, wait for the training to take place, wait for the clients to come in, then at the end of the day you're wasting time, time for you to develop as a professional, and the agency's time in kind of training you up to the level that they want you to be. So be proactive, come with lots of ideas, and don't be afraid to share them. So my fourth point is that your first idea is likely not going to be the best idea in the room. And by this I mean, remember that you're working with so many kind of seasoned professionals, and it can be quite easy to have a call with a client and come off that and think, I've got this really great idea that I want to put forward. Collaboration is key in agency, and it's key to work with teams, because what often you find is that if you start talking and sharing your ideas, they spin off into new ideas, different ways of doing things. People apply their own expertise onto your ideas to make them better, and that's not a bad thing. At the end of the day, it started with you, and it started with what you put forward. But working with clients, working with the team, working with people who have more expertise than you in particular areas is only going to make your idea better and more impactful for the client. So, don't get hung up if your idea gets, isn't pursued. Talk to it through the team and make it better. The last point is to take the time to reflect on your own work. Likelihood is that if you're joining in a kind of more junior role, your work is going to be proofed by a director or a senior account manager, and then it's going to be proofed again by the client. So taking the time to reflect on your work and really think, is this the best approach that I'm putting forward? And to be honest, a lot of the time, during those first 6 months, you're learning along the way, so you are going to make mistakes. You're not going to get everything perfect. But try and get it to that 80% level, and if you don't feel like it is almost there as a kind of final press release, a final newsletter, a final bit of social media copy, then ask members of the team who perhaps aren't the people who are going to be reviewing that final content, but get ideas from them on how you can improve it before you send it to your boss to review. And obviously, make sure that you check everything before it goes to a client.